This type of Yerushalmi Shabbos in the article Oz Bahar edition. We're on Daf Kufyud Beis Amrav, the top line, but tiny moedim, and in the Vilna that is in Daf Tzadik Aleph on the base, and it is six lines to the bottom. And in our Mishnah we had said that a michbash, a press, a balabatim, your matir, you can untie but not press. If it's a professional press, you can't touch it at all. You say because of steroid, because muksa machmas chesron kis. So the Gemara here is asking a question. Why can't you undo it? But I didn't learn. We had this earlier in the Masechta. If you have sealed vessels in the ground, they're opening. Which are knots. They're basically knots. So they have and I mentioned back then, like my mind, this idea of garbage cans in the ground, which I used to see many years ago. But in any event, if you have chosam moshe b'karka mefakpikin umafkin, you can loosen them and you can unravel them umatirin and untie them v'choiskim and cut them. It should say b'yontif. Okay, that's according to Korban Ub'Shabbos, not. Shabbos, Yontif, Ub'Shabbos, and Shabbos, the Fakmikin, you can loosen them, Alom of King, you can unravel them, Alom Matirin, nor undo them, V'lo Chotchim, nor cut them. But Bekalim, Shabbos Mutter. It's okay. Shabbos, the Insachim Rabbi goes out say it's Mutter Yontif as well. So they're Machmir by Michbash Shel Kovsin. So when I say, so the Amra, this teaches us that Michbash also so Karka. They gave it the stringency, either because it's so complex it looks like stiro, or because it's mucham machmas chesron kis. They gave it the same status as chosam shebekarka, which means that you're curtailed, limited what you could actually do with them on Shabbos. So the main motion learned that this whole discussion now is going on being matir, which I think is the pshat. Korban 8 in the article says it's going on why you can't be kovish it. And the next line is going why you can't be matir. But I don't think that that's the pshat. I think that that's the parallel here is how come. In other words, how come you can't be matir? Because that's the parallel to what we're discussing here with the chazon shabakarka. And then Rabbi Yossi is just a riot to that. It says masnisa amakay shel kovsin lo yigaban. That's it saying in our Mishnah shel kovsin lo yigaban. So according to 8 in our articles, it's a separate statement. In other words, similar to about being kovish. And I would say also you shouldn't undo them. But I think that that's the when the Mishnah says lo yigabo. That's like the Pnei Moshe says. He's going to say it's even worse than the Chosam Shebekarka. Either because Machmas Chesron Kis, like Pnei Moshe says, or because Mechsek is Sois, burning with Sois, like Korban Eda. But in fact, they made it worse. They decided that they're going to be more Machmir by the Mechbash Shel Kovsin than they are with the Chol Shel Bekarka. Can't do anything with them. The Mechbash Shel Kovsin can't even touch it. None of the even Mefakbikim, etc., etc. And I should presumably in Yontif as well. In other words, even though the we're here to about our mission doesn't distinguish. You know, to a Shabbos or Yontif again because they made as Mechbash Shel Kovsin, they gave it the super chumrah. Okay, that really brings us to the end of the Yerushalmi Masechah Shabbos, as it says here in the Vilna, in the article left out of the text. Beilar bar pagshel fanenu lomatzalim brisus barba tokas yishana shoyu lefanenu. Interesting way of putting it. They didn't find in any brisus, which means gemaras. In this case, and the 4 copies of the Yerushalmi that they had in front of them when they printed the, I guess, the original Yerushalmi, or maybe the Vilna, I don't know. Anyway, so, Noitel, the Perach Aleph. Actually, Hajjalach Toilen, in the Perach Noitel, Perach Aleph. Noitel is Benova Evan Biyoda, a person could take his son and a stone in his hand, Kalkola, a basket by himself with a stone inside it. Natalin Truma Tmei Matora, you could take Truma Tmei with Tahira, and with Chulin. Obviously, these are cases where there are, we've had this previously in the Gemara, but these are cases where You're metalto davar mutter davar aser, and therefore it's okay. I'm sorry. You can also take off meduma on Shabbos to take the if it's bata 100 and 100, you can take off the one in order to eat the rest of the chulin. We don't pass if you have a stone on top of a barrel, matal tzida, fellas, you incline the barrel sideways and the stone falls off. If it's among other barrels, magbio, matal tzida, fellas, you pick it up and then you incline it and it falls, so it shouldn't fall to another barrel. Moshe Akar, if you have, of course, they didn't leave them there deliberately, otherwise we have buses stuff also. Moshe Akar, you have money on a pillow, coin on the pillow, notice Akar, you shake the pillow, if you notice, and they fall. If there was some sort of disgusting like excrement or something like that, mud or something on top of the pillow, mechanical is smarter. You can wipe it off with a rag, but not with water. If there was a leather pillow or something made of leather in general, they put a water until it goes away because there's no kibus by or no washing. You can move from the table any leftover bones and shells. You can't touch them directly. Because the top of it, rather remove the tablet, the tabletop, kula in its entirety, and you shake them off. You can remove from the table breadcrumbs which are less than the size of a kazayas. It's not the it's a the I'm not sure the that's the main chiddush here. Main chiddush will be the next line. Seir shalfunim b'shadashim, and also the hair, the fibers of peas and of lentils. All these things are machal behema. Even the purim, less gazayis, could be machal behema, but they're not muktzah because although human beings don't eat them, these crumbs they'll be given to animals. Sfog, if you have a sponge, base or base achiza, has a leather handle, so you're not going to squeeze it. Kind of like you use it to wipe. Because you're going to come to skita, you're going to come to squeeze it out. Shabbos, say no matter what, you can carry Shabbos as long as it's dry. You're not going to squeeze it. It's not considered being makabel tuma because it's not a keli. That's like pirka. Chavish nishba. If you have a barrel which broke, but same man mustn't show studos, you can save the food for 3 meals. Call other people and say, come and seal it, say for you as well. He spoke as long as you don't soak it up, because you might come to squeeze it. Ain't so this pass to mashkim. You can't squeeze fruit in order to move from them beverages. They came in their own. They're awesome. You don't matter if they're the type of fruit which is made to eat. It's a mutter, then whatever comes out of this mutter, because you're not going to come to skita. You mashkim, they're made to squeeze. It's an also, then whatever comes out is also because then you might come to skita. Chalos dvash, if you have loaves of honey, Shabbos which you chopped off in Shabbos. And now honey flows out on Shabbos. Yotzim Atzman Surin. If it comes on its own, it's still osir. Rabbi Lezer, however, says it is mutter. And there's no issue possibility of skita because you're already not going to come to the skita one if you already cut them up from before Shabbos, from before Shabbos began. So Moshe says here, Lezer Matir Blok Rabbi Lezer, Chen Zeis on Lovin Shvis Shabbos. Same thing is true about olives and grapes, which you cut up from Shabbos. Let's say mashkin and beverages come out matzma mutarin. The mutar if you should ain't come mokum ligzor, you're not gonna be good. Not no gzera that you might come to skita. Shikfar risk may have Shabbos because you already chopped them off from before Shabbos. Halacha beis. Shabbos, anything which has been cooked before Shabbos, you can soak it in hot water on Shabbos, even though it's cold. because ain't bishul achabishul. Because lo ba b'chaim b'nei Shabbos, it was not good for Shabbos. Medichin also b'chaim Shabbos. You can rinse it off with hot water on Shabbos. The because rinsing off is not considered to be the same thing as soaking it. It's not really cooking it. As the article points out here, it's Irui Kli Sheni as opposed to Irui Kli Rishon, which may be Mavasho. So since it wasn't cooked before Shabbos, you can't be married from a Kli Rishon, only from a Kli Sheni. Except for an old salted herring. Old salted herring. Pickle, maybe it's a pickle. Yeah, it's an old salted herring. Yeah, and also dagim tanim, and I guess small herring. B'kuyasei spanin, and kuyasei spanin, which is another type of fish. Because all of them, they are considered to be kalia bishul. They get cooked very easily because I guess because of saltiness. So therefore, you're not allowed to even do Irui Kli Sheni on them. Because the shadach chasan higamar malachton. Hadach is like mar malacha, which in this case means bishul. We had an old issue about makabeh patish by Oakland, and maybe this is also for makabeh patish, but the most unfortunate say mar malachton here means that is the actual bishul. Allah Gimel Shavadam is a chavis lachom mena grogros. A person can break a jug in order to eat from it dates. This is the head to break things on Shabbos, get a food or other Turkish Shabbos. But actually, it's common unless it's only don't mind to make it actually into a keli, and just to destroy it. You can't pierce the cover of a barrel. Rabbi Yossi matir. Rabbi Yossi permits you to do so. Heretofore, it's considered to be like making a hole to be a form of construction. And Yehuda says it's not. No, that's not. It's not a normal Pesach. It's not just to make a hole in the top of the in the barrel, so it's not considered being more clean. If you have nowadays they have the milk cartons, especially the soy almond milk cartons, so you can take off. There's a plastic seal on them. They have like a spout, a plastic seal. So I always also take out the plastic seal on Shabbos, that plastic seal inside the spout, because you're actually making it into a spout for the first time. So that would be like very similar to what Rabbi Yehuda is saying here, and more or worse, because like Rabbi Yehuda is saying, okay, it's not really a formal opening, it's just making a hole. But here it's making a spout, therefore it should be a problem, even with Rabbi Yossi. But everybody agrees, you can't make a hole in the side. The article explains very nicely. He says that's because sometimes that's a person normally makes the opening. And the top person is not going to necessarily make it open because most of the time doesn't want dirt and stuff to fall in. But on the side, that's the derech. You open barrels on the side, usually for putting a spigot there maybe, but that is the ikar place to make an opening, so it's not just a hole. It's like more like a spout. Okay, even though it just seems like it's just a matter of placement, but that in of itself makes a difference. On top, it's a hole. On the side, it's a spout. Okay, and certainly, if you're making a spout itself, you're going to it should be a problem. If might in the kuvit had a hole there, you shouldn't put wax on it. Because you're going to smooth it out. It's just a memarech, you're going to make the rub it and smooth it. Or maybe they said it might be Rabbi Yerushalmi Shabbos by Rab. We already said our Rab is the town in the Galil. Mites came like this to for Rabbi Yerushalmi Shabbos. He said, I'm afraid that by b'mereach this you'll be chayav chatos. So the article brings down from Rashi and that if he definitely was mimareach, it's definitely chayav chatos. But the question is he being mareach? So if it says he's afraid, it might come to chatos. Okay, Allah chadal. Noistim tav shutoch abor. You put a cooked dish into a well b'shishia shomor, in order that it should be preserved, and we're not concerned that you're going to be ashvui gumas. You're going to smooth the floor in order to hold the tavshil. And you put good water into bad water in order to cool them down. As obviously, there's not considered to be atmara by cold. And as a Tony Mechami, you can put the cold water into hot water until she get hot. So this is only in a Kli Sheni, obviously not in a Kli Rishon. This is because the wall which interrupts between the hot water and the cold water. Um, this is not going to get really cooked. In the Mishnayos, in the Mishnah Bava Gersa, says Tony Mechama, that you put in the sun in order that it could heat it up, and in the heat because bishul there's no cooking in the sun. Well, we told us chama, but just putting something out in the sun, not in a metal pan in the sun, is okay. Mishnashu Kalev Baderech, somebody who's actually I should say somebody whose kalim got whose garments, clothing got wet on the road. Machman, he continued walking there, made no question, doesn't be concerned about schita. He gets to when he gets to the outer courtyard of his wherever he's going. He can spread them in the sun in order to dry them. Low connected on, but not opposite people, not in a public place, because people are going to think that he laundered them on Shabbos. Halacha to be maro, somebody who washes himself in cave water, which is evidently is also a form of hot water, like Mayfair. The next case, it was put into a closed cave in order to seal in the heat. This brings down here. This brings down here in the art scroll. Take some Rashi. And in Meitferia, also in the waters in Tveria, which are hot water, mistapeg, and he dries himself off. I feel the best of even with 10 towels. Loiviem, he shouldn't bring them biyado. He shouldn't carry them home in his hand, because they were afraid that he's going to kind of squeeze them out. There's discussion in the art scroll about washing hot water on Shabbos. You're not allowed to wash your entire body on Shabbos, even though hot water on Shabbos, even if it was heated up from Erev Shabbos, because people might come to heat up the water on Shabbos. After time, Chachamim also included not allowed to sweat in a bathhouse on Shabbos, and then they saw that people were getting more strict, so therefore they allowed them to wash in Mei Tveria, and also in Mei Ma'ora, according to the Yerushalmi, previous Yerushalmi earlier in the Masechta, and they only left in prohibition to wash or sweat in water which is heated up artificially. According to the Bavli, they weren't matir Mei Ma'ora either. They were only matir Mei Tveria. So I mentioned to tell you somebody who washed himself in Mei Tveria, or according to Yerushalmi, Mei Ma'ora Beheter, or washed himself off in other artificially heated water Be'isr. That he still, in terms of towels, he shouldn't be using those towels. Shouldn't be carrying those towels after he used them, even if it's the 10th towel and doesn't have much water in it at all. Right? Nevertheless, we're afraid of schita. But 10 people can dry themselves off with one towel, even though it's going to get a bit wet. And they can also bring them, dry off their pneim, yadayim, raglayim, uvim osam biyodam, and bring them home. So evidently, one person, even the 10th towel can bring it. 10 people, even one towel they can bring it. Because the people remind each other not to squeeze it. The Yerushalmi earlier had said that the Bavli also says Mishnah is not a lochla maisa, but even an individual can bring one towel home in his hand, and we're not choishes shmot schita. Halacha vav. Sagim mashim ne'mayim, you can anoint oil and massage the intestines. Avolom is amlin, but you can't do misamlin, which is a an intensive type of toil to bring about exhaustion and sweat. This is because of refuah on Shabbos. That's one interpretation. An interpretation is the Moshe. Another interpretation Rashi brings down is it's a very intense massage. So that a normal light massage you can do, not a very intense massage. It's a garden, and you also can't use the special scratching implement which they use in order to clean themselves on Shabbos, and that's because of the chol. Obviously, if you're actually dirty, you can use it in order to get clean. And you're adding piluma. You can't. There's also issues of refuah. You can't go down to a place for piluma which had there's a couple interpretations here. I don't think they went there for medicinal purposes, but it's a valley full of water where it was very 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 slippery, and or it might even be a type of quicksand. So it's you might come very easily to Schita on Shabbos in that place. That's what the article says. But again, like I said, I don't know why it says. The Moshe says, "Ein piluma nikra diumsis." That's where Rabbi Elazar ben Arach went. It's a refuah place. No, it's like a spa. You can't do that. Shabbos, you can't use ipakak to regurgitate on Shabbos. Evidently, also it's mersek refuah, even though you might be doing it for pleasure in order to eat more. Still not have to do it on Shabbos. You can't shape a child. The plain motion is specifically after he's born in some sort of orthopedic procedure. You can't do it on Shabbos. The day he's born, you're allowed to, but not after he's born. The you can't put back a broken limb. And the plain motion says we don't pass away. Paskin can put back a set of broken limb on Shabbos. Mish nifraka yodo or raglo, somebody whose hand or leg got dislocated. Lo yichafein b'tzonein. You can't specifically rinse them with cold water, even with cold water, on a place that got dislocated. Evidently, that's a form of fuah for it. Rohi to gedarko, but you can wash the normal way. The nisrape, I guess you can't do a special peula, which looks like it's going above and beyond the normal measure, but it's nicker. It's obviously fuah, but if it's normal, then it's fine. Okay, that is the end. Slow period of Chavis. Shoel. We're starting because we're going to have to go into the next Amud. I'm debating here. No, I think we'll leave it for tomorrow because the last stop is relatively short, so we'll stop here.